morning to you. Thank you so much for being with us today. The show is Good Morning Africa. And of course, this is the last day, Elections Day in Kenya is tomorrow. Thank you so much. I trust that you had a wonderful weekend. My name is Miriam Ogutu, and it is a pleasure to have you here with us today. So I will take us through the headlines this morning, and we start with the Daily Nation. The main headline, who takes it? William Samoei Ruto, a youthful 55 on his first presidential campaign, still radiates the vigor of a YK92 era when he made his entry into politics, while still a fresh-faced university graduate at the dawn of multipartyism. In 1992, while frontrunner Raila Amolo Odinga, more than 20 years older, is a grizzled veteran on the struggle for democracy and human rights, with 3 stints as a political prisoner of the Moi regime under his belt. And that story is on a special coverage on the Daily Nation, pages 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, and 11. So we shall look at that analysis. Telcos to give callers free credit for outages. That story is on the back page. Over 80 million face hunger in Horn of Africa. World Health Organization appeals for 14 billion Kenya shillings in aid to forestall calamity. That is on page 22. Uhuru talks to Mount Kenya in last dash broadcast. That is on page 14, and we shall look to see what the president was saying yesterday. The Star newspaper, the main headline, moment of truth for Raila and Ruto. Allies turn foes face off in presidential contest that could kill political careers of many. That is on page 4 and 5. It's all systems go as IEBC bosses finalize election preparations. That is on page 6. Accept poll results or go to court if aggrieved, Bishop tells candidates. That is on page 2. And the visa delays unacceptable. We will fix it, says new U.S. envoy White man. The Standard newspaper, why Kenya needs you. Tomorrow, Wananchi will brave long queues to elect the country's 5th president and other leaders. There has never been a better time for Kenyans to demonstrate their civic duty to vote. And that is on the special coverage also on the inside pages. So that is the main headline there, and I will go through that. Let me see if I do have some papers from across the region. Before I bring in my panelists, yes, I do have them. The Daily Telegraph from the UK, sprint to avoid NHS meltdown in winter. And Independent still from the UK, police forced to prop up NHS watchdog warns. New vision from Uganda, how traffickers target children. That is the main headline. And Daily Monitor still from Uganda, OPM bosses in new corruption scandal. The story is on page 4 and 5. And then Kenya goes to the polls tomorrow. Government decries a declining number of lions in the parks. That is all on the front page of the Daily Monitor newspaper from Uganda. Newsday from Zimbabwe, play fair in 2023, Mutendi tells ED. Like I keep reminding us, also Zimbabwe is gearing up to its general elections next year. So there has been a lot of political temperatures rising there in the country. So there you go. Daily News also from Zimbabwe. Sikala's foreign lawyers shut out, won't be allowed to come and practice in Zimbabwe. That is the main headline. And Harare's parking fees go up again. I think by now in Kenya, we used to, especially Nairobians, parking in the CBD. It's if you can just come to the CBD with a PSV, I think that would be much better. But the prices, the parking fee continues going up. I think with an effort to discourage Kenyans from going to the central business district there. But I mean, Kenyans still come there with their cars. So the Zimbabwe seems to be facing the same problem. The Nation from Nigeria, Wike's camp slams Atiku over divide and rule in PDP. The Guardian also from Nigeria, governor's advice on learner public service rattles Labour experts. And then the Citizen from Tanzania, revealed factors behind tourist flow. And then the Daily News, also from Tanzania. Samia demands solidarity. Okay, so that is what we have on some of the papers from Africa and others from outside. Thank you so much. You're now up to date. I'm joined by Douglas Kirimi all the way from Meru County. Douglas, a very good morning to you.
A very good morning to you, Miriam Ogutu, and also to my friend Kiptanui Savenia, Resisan Altawish, and also Javan Karanja and Gradual Kirago, and to our crew at our headquarters. Also, Miriam, a very good morning to each and every one of them. And it is a good day that this is the last day the president will be in office, as tomorrow we are going to vote for new leaders from local levels to national levels. And I wish my country well. I wish every one of us well as we vote for leaders. Remember not to vote for crooks or people that are going to make you suffer for the next 5 years. I'm excited, Miriam. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that. And we're also joined by Samuel Tawish. Tawish, good morning to you.
A very good morning indeed to you, Miriam Ogutu, from our communication headquarters. Good morning to my fellow correspondents. And a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to our viewers watching this program in Africa and the rest of the world. My pleasure to join you on this program, Miriam.
All right, nice to have you as well. And we are joined by Kiptanui Savania from Nakuru. Kiptanui, good morning to you.
Very good morning to you, Miriam, in our headquarters. Good morning to my fellow correspondents. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are watching us. I'm coming live to you from Nakuru County. It is actually some few hours so that we can cast our votes. I'm also excited as well. Thank you for having me this morning.
All right, thank you for joining us. And we are also joined by Gladwell Kiragu from Nairobi. Gladwell, maybe not Nairobi. Yesterday she was in Thika. I don't know where she is this morning. Gladwell, good morning.
A very good morning to you, Miriam. Good morning to my fellow panelists. Good morning to our viewers. Coming live from Kiambu County, Juja constituency.
All right. Nice to have you this morning too. And Javan Karanja from Nanyuki. Javan, good morning. All right. Okay, so Javan shall be joining us. I think is that Paul? All right. Paul,
yes.
You know when you save your like that, I'm not aware who that is, so that's why sometimes I'm not sure who to address now. Yeah, good morning.
Good morning to you, Madam, from the headquarters.
Yeah.
We are a few hours away from voting.
Okay.
And the rest of the panelists and the rest of the viewers.
Your audio has a bit of an issue. I don't know if you can just place your audio properly, your device properly, so that we don't have.
Now.
So that
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, please maintain it like that so that it's not interrupted. All right. Thank you all so much. So now let's just get into, the stories this morning, and of course, our main topic today being the last day. Tomorrow is our elections. And Douglas, you've said this is the last day of President Kenyatta being president. No, he has until the next president is inaugurated. That is when President Kenyatta ceases to be the head of state of the Republic of Kenya. Of course, right now, after tomorrow, his powers will be quite limited. There are things he really can't do. He can't appoint ambassadors. He can't receive new ambassadors like he did the other day. He can't. There are things he can't do. All right, until we get the next president. But he's still the head of state until the next president is sworn in. All right, so that's how things are. Okay, so let's just start with, some of the commentary because all right, the Daily Nation has captured, giving us a kind of a history and they think that these two front runners have been running and campaigning about. So William Samoei Ruto, a youthful 55, and on his first presidential campaign, still radiates the vigor of the YK92 era when he made his entry into politics, while still a fresh-faced university graduate at the dawn of multi-partyism in 1992, while frontrunner Raila Odinga, more than 20 years older, is grizzled veteran of the struggle for democracy and human rights, and 3 stints as a political prisoner of the Moise regime under his belt. So just that introduction and that, title there on the Daily Nation. I don't know, for somebody who's visiting the country and gets a hold of the Daily Nation and just reads that, what comes to mind? How they're describing these two leading front runners? I'll start with you, Douglas Kirimi.
Thank you, Miriam. You cannot have an headline that tells you that a man that wants to be a president started their campaigns or their presidential race from the days of Y92, and we get comfortable with that. Miriam, I'm at a crossroads when a man that started his life at Y92, a man that read mayhem around the country, stolen a lot of resources from the people of Kenya, and actually they killed a lot of people and they beat up Kenyans. That is how, as a fresh university graduate, he built his life. That is how he built his career, a career that was built in Brad, and also a career that was also built in taking advantage of others. I think that as a first timer in this country, this is not a person that I can be able to advocate for to be the president of the Republic of Kenya. And I also caution the people of Kenya, when a person has a shady past, Miriam, it is that if Douglas Kiremi is a criminal, he is a criminal. If he has committed a crime in the past, that does not erase the fact that he was a criminal and he wants to be a president. And remember, those things are in character, media. And we've been told time and time again that these people have done this and this, and they have gone ahead to do other things in this country, Miriam, which are very unforgivable, like the fronts that continue ravaging the people of Regio Marakwet in Aurora and Kimorelville villages. These are people who are supposed to have experienced mega dams like the Karemeno Dam 2 in Kiambu, Gatundu North constituency, which have bettered the lives of the people and which have put the lives of the people forward, and also that can be able to grow the economies of those people. And when me, as a person, as a young person, going to vote tomorrow morning, I have a choice to make between a leader that is going to bring transformation in this country, or a leader that even called opposition people in 2017 militia, that was actually in a militia in 1992. The nostalgia from the past is beckoning on the mind of this leader that in 2017 went ahead and called others militia and made sure that the people of Kenya were stereotyped because they did not support President Uhuru Kenyatta and himself. But at the end of the day, Miriam, when the push comes to the shove, we have a decision to make tomorrow. And I urge the people of Kenya, no matter whoever is your choice, no matter who is running tomorrow, please go and vote for your choice and go home. And do not cause chaos because of a politician. When these politicians, when the push comes to the shove after the chaos and after the drama and all that, they are going to shake hands and move on, and their children know each other, they work together, do business together. And actually, as you continue advocating for your leader tomorrow to take political office, their salary can never and will never eat your account, because the credentials that will be taken to the county assemblies, national assembly, the presidency, or everywhere that any institution that is charged with paying their salaries is going to charge into their details. It's not going to charge into your own details. When these people come to the fore and tell you that our people, our victory has been stolen and all that, please do not listen to political shenanigans tomorrow, because you have a choice to make. You've had enough literature, you have enough material to be able to check from and check the character of these people. The other day, Miriam, the newspapers had a splash of investments that each and every leading presidential candidate has made over the past years in their lives. And some of them were said to be career profiteers from government tenders and also illegal tenders in government. And another person was said to be a businessman that has been led by sheer work and also by the grace of God, by hard work, perseverance, and also hardships, and they have built a fortune for themselves. Others have had to invoke their powers in government to get tenders and all that. You have a choice tomorrow to choose a leader that is going to represent your interests. But after your voting time is over, please go home. Because these politicians, I heard the Honorable Raila Odinga say that when he loses, he's going to shake the hand of his opponents. And when he wins, he's going to still shake the hands of his opponents. So there's an handshake rooming somewhere in a corner. And you are there advocating for a politician and also a leader that is going out there to continue benefiting themselves and their families, whereas you and your family, you continue suffering in the end. Please, when you vote tomorrow, go home and also make sure that you do not die for any politician, because they won't even come to bail you when you are arrested after causing drama tomorrow, even at your local polling station tomorrow morning. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, you're saying a handshake is looming. I think handshakes have become very necessary in this country, I think. And I think depending on what you mean, but I think it has become very necessary. And, if you're able to lose or win, but you extend yourself in a sign of peace and moving forward the country, I think it's very, very necessary. So we shall look to see how that will be. And Kiptanui Sivanya, just reading this headline on the Daily Nation this morning and how they're describing these two leaders. Ruto is described as he came into politics during the YK92 era, just straight from the university in the dawn of multipartyism in 1992. At the same time, Raila Odinga, who is his greatest competitor there, the front runner at the time, was fighting, the same regime. And 20 years older than Ruto, he has struggled for democracy and human rights, and he has had 3 stints as a political prisoner of the Moi regime, the same regime that Ruto, was working with during that time. So this headline, when you read it like this, what comes to your mind as far as when you look at the character of these two presidential candidates is concerned?
Thank you. Thank you, Miriam. If actually somebody lands in KIA and picks that newspaper and goes through, he or she will make tough decisions. Let me start with my brother William Ruto. This is the guy who actually came out of university direct to the YK92. He has no history of employment. He has no history of being who was the first employer. How he made his billions. But there are so many atrocities, Miriam, which was done at that time in 1992. You remember there was post-election problem. That is the time the opposition was actually coming up. That is the time Section 2A, I think Section 2A was being implemented at that time. And you see, it seems the William Ruto did not even started that politics after entering YK92. 1990. Maybe also in university he participated. We've had a lot of stories about what actually happened in those days of YK92 at the apex when the late President Moi was actually ruling. You see, most of these university guys were being used. You've seen Kirongo telling us that William Ruto, giving us the character of William Ruto starting from there, and you see. And this is between also a reformist like Raila Odinga, who was actually fighting for democracy in this country at that time, and who was actually against the democracy of William Ruto. Now, this is that scenario. It is bringing us a perspective that it is giving Kenyans choice between the person who means good for this country and the person who does not mean good for this country. Let us go back to 1997 when he entered politics. From 1997, 2002, 2005. 2005, the late and retired President Mwai Kibaki, with other people, they come up with Katiba. And you see, William Ruto led the troops and that, I think it was Boma's trap, went down. 2010, when we were actually ushering in, when we were actually campaigning for this constitution, which we are using now to govern this country, he was actually in the opposite side. Recently, BBI was in the opposite side. So this is a developmental character whereby you see this person does not mean any good things to this country. So why is it not good to give out leader to give an opportunity a leader of that character who does not mean this country? And you see, we are moving, going towards Mandela system. We are going towards towards developing this country. So we see what I actually got out of the deadline of that newspaper is that Raila Odinga presents a hope. He presents hope for all generations. This is a guy who has been fighting for democracy in this country and goodwill. You see, from 2007 to 2013, when he was actually in coalition government, we saw a lot of things, big as highway, a lot of infrastructure. And you see, from March 2013, not 2013, from March 2018 up to now, after shaking hands with Uhuru Kenyatta, we've seen a lot of development experience. So this is like the guy with art that he actually aspires to be president so that he continues to develop this country. I submit.
Okay, thank you. Gladwell Kirag, the headline on the Daily Nation this morning, that's where we are starting our conversation from. The way they're describing this to leading presidential candidates, for you, how will this help you decide on the person perhaps you would want to go vote for tomorrow?
Thank you so much, Miriam. You know, when you compare the two, let me start by saying I think Raila has been actually in the government, not the government has been politically active since 1980s or so. So that is somebody who got the experience. And I'll give an example. As we're going to vote tomorrow, this is where we say, is also going to apply for a job position, we also say experience matters too. And I think this is the best thing because he has been there, he knows the struggles, he knows what the challenges that actually in the government. So as I go to vote tomorrow and the people go to vote tomorrow, we're also not looking at, as we look at a person individually, we also look at the experience. Because this is like a form for a form for liver and a university graduate. These are the two. There's somebody who, like somebody like Ruto, he has been in government too since 2000, but you can't compare him with somebody like Raila. So that's what I'm saying. With Raila, he has the experience. He has been there, so he knows. And that's why I'm always advocating as for people going to vote tomorrow. As you look for the person individually and the capabilities, look at the experience too. Because we can't just give somebody the leadership. And when we're talking about leadership, it's not, here we're not dealing with it's not a government, it's not a governor seat or MP. These are seats whereby somebody can learn in position. But as for a president, this is somebody who is leading the country. So experience is very key here. And that's why we are saying tomorrow as you go to vote, vote wisely, vote the experience, vote the capability of somebody. And actually, as you go to vote, yes, tomorrow, vote, go home, wait for the results.
Okay, yes, indeed. Vote and go home. Do not attempt to hang around the polling station. You'll be arrested. Ukishapiga kura, go wait for the results at home. The next day, wake up and go to work if you're going to work, or just go about your business. I know today coming to work in the morning, I was shocked. Being a Monday, usually there's a lot of traffic, but you would think it was a Sunday. So I wondered, has everybody left the city? Where has everybody gone? Because the traffic was not there, and there seems to be a few people as usual. And I was in town yesterday in the evening. Kenyans are still traveling, but for those who I was able to interact with, they're actually going to vote because they took their votes in their rural homes, and so they have to travel to go to vote. So also that is, I think that is promising. On one side, it shows how much Kenyans take this, the voting seriously, and they do understand the responsibility they have as far as, and their voice as far as the leadership of this country is concerned. So I love that they are doing that. And of course, others are traveling for other reasons, but I will get into that. Samuel Tawish. The headline.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Did you get the headline? I don't know if you're available then. The headline on the Daily Nation?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
I did, Miriam.
Good, go ahead.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the submissions made by my colleague correspondents. One, Miriam, we need to demystify the reason why most Kenyans are moving from one place to another, because there's this exaggeration and perception. Probably people are running away from, say, perceived hotspot areas in as far as this election is concerned. But in my own view and my own observation, I think most people are moving and going to make sure that their ballot, their vote is going to count. Because there are people probably who are in the city or various urban centers in Kenya here, but registered as voters in the rural area. So they will have to travel and go and exercise their civic duty by voting tomorrow. And that's basically why I think people are moving. Because I remember even personally, I was up country a few days ago, but I had to come back to Nairobi. One, because I'll be on duty, and second, I'll be also casting my vote here in Nairobi. And basically, I think that is my interpretation as to why we are having a lot of movement, people moving from one place to another, not basically because of any security threat. That is the observation I have in as far as that is concerned. Secondly, Miriam, I think for the first time in our history, we are presented with two choices. I do not want to say one which is like heaven and earth because I've never been in heaven. I think it is more like day and night, if I should put it that way, Miriam. We are presented with a choice of candidates. To the extent that Kenyans are not going to struggle as to who exactly they are going to vote. On one hand, just like my colleague correspondents have said, we have a pair of individuals with impeccable character, impeccable integrity, people with a clear track record, people who have been tried and tested, people who are corrupt-free, and people who have the will to serve and to serve Kenyans and make sure that all the issues that bedevil this country are really addressed. And I'm talking about the Azimio la Umoja coalition ticket led by one Raila Odinga and Martha Karua. But on the other hand, Miriam, you have individuals who have a tainted past. The likes of Rigathi Gachagua, you need not even to mention, is one person who has been mentioned various corrupt activities. So is his boss, Deputy President William Ruto, who is the coalition flag bearer for the Kenya Kwanza. I mean, from the land grabbing, from the issue of the dam scandal, from the issue. I mean, all these corruption things, elements that have been mentioned in this country, in one way or another, there's a way that they hang or hover in the head of Deputy President William Ruto, and coincidentally also in the head of his deputy, that is Rigathi Gachagua. So for Kenyans, it's going to be a very easy choice to make. I mean, a choice about the prosperity, about the future of this country, and a choice about retardation, a choice about maybe taking the country back. Because again, when you listen onto the two sides, and even if you looked onto the kind of comparative analysis that has been done between the two leading presidential candidates, that is Raila Odinga and Deputy President William Ruto, it is very clear to you when it comes to the track record, when it comes to a person who with an experience, just like Kiragu has mentioned, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga really comes out as the most experienced politician and one who has, at every other opportunity, really had the interests of the people at heart and has given priority to what matters to the rest of the country other than his self-interest. The same cannot be said of the other side. In as much as people are so much excited, yes, I know that, because again, our country, Kenya still remains so much engulfed, so much webbed in this tribal cocoon. And it's obvious that if you went to Nyanza today, and particularly Luo Nyanza, you'll find that most Luos really would wish and pray that Raila Odinga wins this presidential election. The same applies to Deputy President William Ruto's Kalenjin nation. If you are to go to Uasin Gishu, I mean, a considerable number of voters, if not all, will agree and say that they really hope and pray. In fact, some of them, as I've read through, are even praying and fasting that Deputy President William Ruto wins this particular election. Be that as it may, Miriam, what is important for us is not about the tribal inclination, it's not about the regional thing, it's not about anything, but what is it that the two leading presidential candidates really have to offer. You read the track record, you read the experience, you read how their past has been in terms of the chance they have had to serve Kenyans, and it can clearly tell you a person of principle, a person of his word. And Raila Odinga really comes out as the best example in as far as this is concerned. So tomorrow, just like the rest of Kenyans, I'm particularly very excited more than ever, Miriam. Like I said yesterday, this will be my fourth time to vote. I remember the first time I was voting was when I was fresh from Form 4, that is in 2007. But I've never been this excited really to go and participate in an election. In fact, the issue that we are having, I mean, the notion and perception we are having previously about a year or so ago, that maybe the Kenyan people are not so much excited about this election, that probably you are going to have voter apathy. I think people are getting to embrace that this is going to be a very crucial election, one which is going to be a defining one for this country, one which it is about a transformation, and one which is about a transition from a head of state who is leaving power after 2 terms in office, and one of its kind at a time when you have a sitting head of state supporting the main rival, the opposition, and not a person they have served with as deputy for the last 10 years. It has never been witnessed before in the rest of our history, the Kenyan history, not even in the African history. We've seen opposition leader at some point coming out to back the sitting head of state, like it happened previously with the President Uhuru Kenyatta supporting the former and late President Mwai Kibaki in 2007. The same cannot be said with the current scenario that we find ourselves in as Kenyans, where you have the opposition, the main opposition, one who has contested against a sitting head of state twice, if not thrice, but again, the president deciding to work together and even throw his weight behind that opposition leader. There's more that we read out of all this. There's that thing that President Kenyatta has seen in Raila Amolo Odinga. That's one thing that most of his supporters have seen over time when he's been throwing his, of course, hat in the ring in as far as presidential contest is concerned. So I believe Kenyans will be going to vote en masse tomorrow. They are pregnant and expecting that this election is going to be a defining one. We want a person who is going to ensure that devolution is going to be implemented to the latter, or a person who is going to ensure that the issue of multipartyism, which Raila Amolo Odinga himself fought for, is one which is going to be anchored and upheld by all and sundry. A person who is going to make sure that we are going to fight the vice corruption. A person who is also going to ensure that the people of Kenya remain united. And I'm very confident and sure, Miriam, that that pair is led by none other than Raila Amolo Odinga and Martha Karua. So tomorrow is the D-Day. Is that day that Kenyans have been waiting. The hour of reckoning is here. We want to see how this moment is going to be a defining one, not only for this generation, but for the generations to come. I submit, Miriam.
Okay, thank you so much. And just below that, all right, let me get Paul Onyango's, opinion on this headline of the Daily Nation. And just below that headline, there are key issues, that both camps have, have promised that this is what they will do should they be elected, as far as healthcare is concerned, and the manufacturing, and the gender rule. So we just look at that. But before that, Paul, your opinion on this headline on the Daily Nation this morning and how they are describing these two leaders.
Okay, my take is this. The first time I got voters card was in 1997. I've been voting all those years.
Paul, I don't know where you are.
Yes.
Where are you? There's a lot of background noise.
Let me look for a place.
Please do. We can't do that. Thank you. All right. We can't do that. Very well. So let's just go and look at, compare these two. The Daily Nation has done us a favor, just on the front page. So we'll look at the first issue, and that is on healthcare. So Ruto has promised to achieve 100% national health insurance fund coverage for senior citizens within 3 years of assuming power. So you're saying if you're a senior citizen, I don't know this starts from what age, maybe 60 plus. So you will have 100% coverage of the National Health Insurance Fund, and then he'll do that within 3 years of assuming power, and then revamp the cash transfer programs for elderly and vulnerable households. I think it's ongoing. I don't know how good it's doing, but I think there's something of the sort ongoing. And Raila's pledge on the same is Baba Care, which primarily focuses on social protection and transformation and upscaling universal health coverage to universal health care. So which one of the two do you think addresses the issue of universal health care better, or you think will really address the issue of the common Monanchi who suffer a lot and who don't have alternative or the the privilege of taking a flight and going out of the country to seek for better treatment, and so they're stuck with these government health facilities, which a lot of times are underfunded. They don't have qualified personnel, and things like this. So which one of these two do you think addresses the key issues as far as you think Kenyans would want to be addressed as far as healthcare is concerned? Douglas Kirimi.
Thank you, Miriam. I believe that the plan on healthcare that is presented by the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party is better, because even on what William Ruto is presenting, that he is building better from what President Kenyatta has done, because the manifesto from William Ruto is an average from the 2013 and 2017 manifestos of President Uhuru Kenyatta's Jubilee administration. When you look at it very well, even William Ruto himself has never been consistent in fighting for better healthcare rights for the people of Kenya, and actually for the medics who are working across the country. We've never seen William Ruto really fight for the healthcare and also to make sure that the people of Kenya access better healthcare services. And when we look at President Kenyatta himself as a president, he has been able to champion for universal healthcare. He's been able to make sure that the people of Kenya get comprehensive healthcare. He's been able to launch a series of programs that were meant to revitalize and also to actually revamp the healthcare system in the country. But for William Ruto, for the 9 years he has been in power, or 10 years or so, a term of 10 years, he has not been able to articulately come out clearly as a champion for healthcare. For Baba, he has been able to say that he will be able to take care of the elderly. He's been able to say how he's going to work on revamping the healthcare system that is collapsing in some places, in some counties, and actually across the country through his transformative plan of Baba Care, which he has been able to put to the fore, and the people of Kenya have been able to buy from it. The reason why I could not buy the plan from Kenya Kwanza is that even the people in Kenya Kwanza themselves have not been able to champion proper healthcare systems from where they come from. People like Josephat Kinanok, people who have taken over 100 million from donor funding and actually from national government, other billions, hundreds of billions from national government to develop Turkana, have not been able to demonstrate that they can do something for the people. Motua has been all about PR and all that. People are suffering in Machakos. People in Machakos are jamming other hospitals in neighboring counties in Kajiado, in Kiambu and Murang'a and other places. But when you look at Raila Odinga and the plan that he talks about is a plan that is feasible, it's a plan that can be able to be worked on, it's a plan that can be taken by another person and that can be used to make sure that the people of Kenya access better health care and actually enjoy the benefit of voting for a government that takes care of their health. But for Kenya Kwanza, I do not trust them with my health. I do not trust them with a plan to revitalize that, because even William Ruto himself in government, he was not a champion of the same. What I heard William Ruto tell the people of Kenya, mostly, especially issues that touch on the common man, is that you should cease farming maize and make sure that you have gone out of your way and also started now farming avocado so that you can be able to diversify the sources of your income. Whereas he has been farming in Republic of Congo from Denis Nguesso's land to make sure that he has been able now to sell more maize to the Republic of Kenya for him to continue benefiting. But for us to see William Ruto talk about healthcare that he's going to deal with as a president, and when he was vice president, we never saw him, or we've never had him advocate for the rights of medics in this country, and actually for the poor people to access better healthcare services and also to access affordable healthcare in this country. You cannot be a deputy president who doesn't talk about healthcare. Healthcare is a primary concern for the people of Kenya. But for Raila Odinga, we've seen him try to talk to people in the medical sector when they wanted to go on strike, or when they were on strike. You would also urge people to negotiate and also have dialogue and also have conversations. We've heard him talk about universal healthcare, especially his transformative plan of Babacare. Thank you, Miriam.
Okay, thank you so much, Douglas. And Tawish, on top of the healthcare and how these two are planning to address the issue of healthcare in the country, Ruto also is promising to revamp the cash transfer programs for elderly and vulnerable households. Except he does not say how. And as I said, there is a similar, I think, a program in place right now. I don't know how effective it has been. I think they give needy households about 2,000 per month. I don't know, something like that. And Raila proposes Inua Jamii, a social protection program that will give 6,000 Kenya shillings per month to needy households. So which one seems more practical, if at all any of this becomes a reality to Kenyans someday?
Thank you so much, Miriam. And I think the issue here is not about which documents is so much appealing to Kenyans. Because for one, we understand that politicians over time have been used to giving us promises and pledges every electioneering period. But what is very critical is in its implementation. And I think
We've lost you there. Tawish, can you hear me? I can see you're there. You're muted. Okay, go ahead. Tawish, can you hear me?
Yes, Miriam, I can hear you. Sorry about that interruption. Well, what I was trying to say is that over time we have seen politicians really give these pledges and promises during, of course, through their manifestos during electioneering period or when they're campaigning for office. But more often, we've also seen them not really rise to the occasion and implement some of these policies and manifestos that they give to the Kenyan people. And Miriam, we have seen even in the previous administrations, like Jubilee administration, if I have to give example. Deputy President William Ruto, I remember, promised Kenyans so much. You remember the issue of laptops for the kids, which did come to fruition. The issue of the stadiums in every county, I believe, which never came to be. The issue of jobs for the young people, especially those who have graduated from school, a year, something quite never happened.
We apologize for that. Let's just remove Paul for right now. Sorry. Yeah.
The issue to do with the cost of living, Miriam. And I remember DP Ruto saying that we will be able to purchase a 2 kg packet of maize flour at 60 shillings or less. And we all know where we are today, Miriam. So all that said and done, the only thing we can do, Miriam, is to try and, of course, compare the two in terms of any kind of pledge or manifesto they have and the possibility or likelihood of the same being implemented, assuming any of these two leading coalitions really get win this coming presidential election. And if you are to go by past history, Miriam, the pair of Martha Karua and Raila Odinga are people whom you'll agree to a large extent that are people who live by their word, people who live by what they promise, and that gives us so much hope and expectation that once they assume office, if Kenyans are going to give them the nod tomorrow, that they will be able to implement this. You talk about the issue of healthcare, Miriam. This is one very critical and fundamental aspect in any society, Miriam. It's almost one of the key foundations or the key pillars of any society and her people. And Raila Odinga coming out with the Babacare, of course, initiative, that in itself tells you how he has prioritized the issue of healthcare for the people of Kenya. And also the 6,000 shillings you've talked about for the say for the poor or the less privileged families. It does tell you, Miriam, the kind of priority and the stress that Raila Odinga puts on the, of course, in making sure that we have a healthy nation. As they usually put it, a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. So that is where it has to begin. We cannot talk about growing our economy. We cannot talk about doing manufacturing, having affordable housing, and all those other aspects that make up the prosperity of a nation without putting so much emphasis and attention on the health of the people. And that's why you see Raila Odinga is putting so much concentration and attention on the issue of the healthcare for the people of Kenya. In any case, Miriam, just like President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is the outgoing president, has indeed stressed, there is currently the universal healthcare program that President Kenyatta's administration has been running, which many argue that it has succeeded to a large extent. So we'll need a continuation of this and probably an upgrade or making sure that we have additional funding to this particular initiative, and also making sure that we have more trained doctors in our hospital, that we also have, that our doctors are also paid, our doctors and nurses are paid very well, and that we also have enough drugs in our hospital, so that when we are not only talking about the facilities, the healthcare facilities in the country, we have the healthcare facilities. We must also have the medical personnel actually in these healthcare facilities, as well as drugs that are needed really to treat our people. I think these are the basics that we need to address so that our people can eventually be able to enjoy. Not everybody really has the privilege of going to a private hospital, but if the same can be guaranteed in our public hospitals, and the people of Kenya who are contributing immensely through taxes and revenues to the government, they are able to get this essential service, that is health service, from the government, because they are paying the taxes, and therefore there's no need for them, or there's no justification for them not to get this essential service, Miriam. So I really agree that Raila Amolo Odinga's Azimio la Umoja has a very clear manifesto and a very clear agenda when it comes to the issue of healthcare compared to the other side, regardless of how much it has been, the cake has been iced on the other side, regardless of how much they have tried to decorate it. The most important thing is there a will to implement this? And from history and from our experience, Deputy President William Ruto is a man whom we cannot take very seriously, regardless of how sweet he makes his words look like, because the actions need really to accompany rather the words and the promises that he makes to the people of Kenya. So yes, I believe Raila Odinga has the will to really implement whatever kind of manifesto and healthcare policy that is put in his manifesto. I submit, Miriam.
All right. Thank you. And of course, on manufacturing, we know that was one of the key pillars of the Big Four agenda of the Jubilee government that the DP was and is still part of. He's still the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. So he pledges to help the country industrialize by helping manufacturers as part of an ambitious economic turnaround strategy. So I don't know how the manufacturers are supposed to be helped. I think this is sort of a policy thing. There has to be some policy in place, some laws, and I think I've said it here so many times, and we all have talked about it, that protect our small and medium income, companies, the Juakali sectors. There are things that we can manufacture in this country that we don't have to be getting from outside. So we put laws in place to protect our manufacturers, to protect the small industries, to protect the Juakali sector. And no, Kenya is a capitalist country, and the way we engage and the way, our whole economy is based on. We are a capitalist, economy, but even with that, we have to consider and put policies in place like countries have done across the world. There are things that China will never agree for you to take there because they manufacture, and they've made sure they've protected their own industries. And a place like China, they have a lot of cottage industries. So they will not accept for you to take some things there, but they don't have a problem taking the same things to other countries because these countries, like say Kenya, we accept each and everything that is coming from these other countries, and we bring it back, we import it into the country, even at the expense of our local industries. So unless we are very intentional with protecting our industries here, then this manufacturing will remain very nicely done on paper. I think this is just a policy thing that has to be the incoming government, whoever that will be, must really look into. And so Ruto says he will help the country industrialize by helping manufacturers. He's not saying how, as part of an ambitious economic turnaround strategy. Okay, and Raila is promising on the same, or sort of kind of on the same, that to increase, to support the growth of MSMEs, medium and small income generating companies, including Jokali sector, through improved productivity and efficiency. They are also not saying how this is going to work out. For whoever who will be coming to power, the next government, how would you want for them to look at the manufacturing industries, especially when you're having the Juakali sector in mind, Gladwell Kiragu? What can we do as a country? Oh, Gladwell is not there, but Kiptanui, go ahead.
Thank you, Miriam. I was the one person, Miriam, who actually works Mayor Fertilizer, and
Yes.
I was trying to ask him. I was actually trying to. He works in Nakuru, a friend of mine, and I was trying to. His production manager.
We seem to be having a technical hitch this morning with the connection of a few of our correspondents, but Kiptanui, we seem to be losing you there. Okay, maybe Tawish, you can come in, or Douglas, and speak on the same as we wait for Kiptanui to join us. He seems to be having a bit of a technical hitch.
Miriam, probably if you could just remind me about the question you are discussing.
I'm just looking at how these two camps want to look at the issue of manufacturing. So Ruto says, help the country industrialize by helping manufacturers as part of an ambitious economic turnaround strategy. And in Raila's camp, he's promising to support the growth of MSMEs, including Jokali sector, through improved productivity and efficiency. And as much as they both sound like they're intending to do something to help the manufacturing industry and the local industry in the country, but they're not explicit in how they're planning to do this. And I was explaining just earlier that for this to succeed, perhaps it has to be a policy that has to be put in place to ensure that we protect these industries, of course, from the aggressive markets outside that sometimes bring in goods and services that end up killing our small industries. And because we are a capitalist in economy, so what do you say to that? And has any of these two camps really addressed the issue of manufacturing properly?
Well, Miriam, I think emphasis has to be put into making sure that in as much as we have this pledge that you're making to the people of Kenya, especially on the manufacturing front, one very fundamental thing is about how these people are going to access the grants that each of the coalitions really are promising, because there's one thing to do with them promising that we are going to have these grants, but the bureaucracy around getting these grants could also be a very major impediment in making this initiative a success. We've seen it previously with the Kazi kwa Vijana, we've seen it in the Youth Fund, we have seen it in various other initiatives that are geared towards helping the young generation, the working, the people who are in the manufacturing industry. So much that government is putting money in these particular initiatives, but it ends up in pockets of a few individuals like we have witnessed in the past. So I want to see stringent measures being put in place to ensure that there are no loopholes that any bureaucrats would want to use really to siphon monies or funds that are meant for these initiatives, Miriam. The coming in administration, if indeed they have the will, I'm very certain they're going to pump in billions of Kenyan shillings into these particular programs. But how this is going to be implemented is a different thing altogether. And that is where the stress has to be put in, and the emphasis has to be put there. Secondly, Miriam, we also want to make sure that in as much as we are giving our manufacturing sector a lot of grants, or even in terms of the leeway really to do their manufacturing, we also want to see them actually being of those safeguarded from external competition, especially from outside the country. Because Miriam, we can produce so much, yes, but if there's a lot of external, say for example, competition coming, say from importation of other local, other cheap products and services from maybe foreign countries, then it becomes an almost zero-sum game. It's like we're not improving the manufacturing industry in the country. So we also need to safeguard that particular sector by ensuring that we reduce or eliminate altogether competition from the external forces. And in this case, Miriam, also we also need to continue doing civic education and appealing to Kenyans to really promote and make sure that we embrace those that have been made by our very own here in the country. The Buy Kenya, is it Buy Kenya something?
Buy Kenya, Build Kenya.
Buy Kenya, Buy Kenya, Build Kenya initiative, so that promotion rather, where people of Kenya are being sensitized on the need to be able to buy products that have been locally made here. By doing so, we'll be very proud that you're wearing a shirt that has locally been made, but also promoting those who are carrying out this manufacturing and manufacturing of this particular clothes, if that is the case. And by doing so, we will also be increasing revenue to the government. And when government gets enough revenue, services are also going to be increased in terms of how we are going to get services from government. So essentially, those are some of the things I suppose that the coming new administration must be able to put into place to ensure that manufacturing becomes a reality. Local manufacturing becomes a reality by eliminating external competition and making sure that we promote our local production and manufacturing. And also, the people of Kenya are being sensitized really to embrace the use or consumption of the locally manufactured products here in the country. By doing so, Miriam, I can tell you that this program is going to be an absolute success. And in the next 10 or so years, this country would have made a very major stride in as far as manufacturing is concerned, and its economy would have improved greatly. I submit.
Okay, thank you so much. And of course, in Azimio One Kenya Alliance, they also say that they intend to increase developed resources and advance a one country, one product, one county, one product program premised on manufacturing and value addition, as part of their economic revamp or part of their manufacturing. Yes.
Sorry, I just forgot one more point, if you allow me the latitude.
Yes.
There's also an aspect of course, encouraging the local, say, for example, farmers, because the biggest challenge that our local manufacturers have been experiencing is the sourcing the raw materials for manufacturing from outside the country. So if we can also be able really to improve on that sector, say for example cotton, if you're talking about making clothes in the country here, let's also encourage farmers and subsidize farm input so that the local farmers can be able to produce as much cotton as possible, so that those who are making clothes, the cloth industry, will be able to even get these raw materials locally here in the country affordably. So, and in that way, we'll also be making it easier for the manufacturing industry really to thrive. Those are some of the things I suppose we must really address, without which, Miriam, even if you're going to do this manufacturing locally, even if our people are going to buy these products locally, even if you're going to eliminate competition, if you're not going to address the issue of, say, the raw materials also, because this is one of the things also that makes this locally manufactured products to be very, very expensive. But if cotton is produced right here in the country, our manufacturers are able to locally source them, and the end product is that you'll be able to buy, say, a cloth, a suit, or a trouser at a relatively affordable price, Miriam. I submit.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's just move on to something that happened yesterday. President Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday spoke to Mount Kenya region in a last dash broadcast. That is what the Daily Nation is saying. So that story is on page 14. President Uhuru Kenyatta last evening shared his major successes and regrets in his 10-year rule in his final address to Mount Kenya residents. The address, delivered in the form of an interview across all television and radio stations that broadcast in the vote-rich region, happened less than 48 hours to the August 9th general election. The interview has been viewed as his last stab against his deputy William Ruto, who he has been campaigning against. Dr. Ruto's messaging has been to rally the region, which recorded the highest turnout in 2017, when they sought to re-election with President Kenyatta, to better the record with an even higher figure. Dr. Ruto has insisted that he was President Kenyatta's loyal deputy and his bosses moved to side with his main challenger, Azimio flag bearer Raila Odinga, was a betrayal of the people who stuck with him. The 9 Mount Kenya counties, Nyeri, Kiambu, Murang'a, Kirinyaga, Embu, Tharaka Nithi, Laikipia, Meru, and Nyandarua collectively has about 4.7 million votes for Dr. Ruto. Therefore, the block is an important one if he has any chance of hitting the 50% plus one mark of the votes cast. And in his address yesterday, the president avoided direct reference to Mr. Odinga and Dr. Ruto, but urged Mount Kenya voters to make a wise decision tomorrow. So one would wonder, why would President Uhuru Kenyatta find it necessary yesterday, with just a few hours, just after the completion of the campaign period, and knowing very well that perhaps William Ruto will not get a podium to respond to him? I don't know, was this strategic? Why would he choose to address especially Mount Kenya region? And just after the campaign period was, campaign window was closed. I'll start with you, Kiptanui, and then Douglas.
Thank you, Miriam. It was actually good for President Uhuru Kenyatta to address his people. He's their kingpin. He is their mudamaki. So William Ruto can respond if he wishes. But you see, it is normal for people. It is normal for every kingpin to assemble his group people. You see, even the last meeting that was there in Kapkatet is in Kericho County, and you see, Kapkatet has been an historical meeting. Kalenjin, they normally gather there and say their own things. But you see, when Uhuru Kenyatta, not even Uhuru Kenyatta alone, when people from other communities, they assemble and they speak on one voice, at the other wing of coalition led by Dennis Itumbi, starts to get worried and to condemn. You see, there is a lot of dishonest, Miriam, in this perspective, in this life. People are dishonest. You see, a lot of propaganda and a lot of things that even if you address your people in your vernacular, they are not going to change. Now, Miriam, Uhuru Kenyatta is retiring very soon after the new president has come in. Who is going to take over? Who is going to lead these people? Mount Kenya is very important. It is a fortress. And you see, maybe on my thought, I was thinking maybe there are some people who push Uhuru Kenyatta to address them. Because, you cannot come you cannot plan and say that I want to address my people and tell them. So it was necessary for him, because he has been accused by the likes of Ndindi Nyoro, the likes of Moses Kuria, the likes of Imani Mujiri from Bahati, and these are the ones from Kikuyu constituency. He has been accused that he has not developed, he has concentrated so much, the answer came and distorted everything. The answer came and our plans were actually shut down by the answer, of which it is lies. So there are people, my sister, who are living in Kiambu. There are some people who are living in Katundu, they rarely speak even Swahili. So when the king addresses them in Kikuyu or in their local language, I cannot see as if it was a tribal thing. I cannot see as if there was any problem. It is normal. Miriam, there is a morning show in Kass FM. It is actually running from almost 7, or I think it is 7 up to 9. And people are calling this local radio station, discussing politics, discussing a lot of things in vernacular. But see, is it that William Ruto or any other Kalenjin has not been there? He has been there. He has been even in Kalenjin, and he spoke to the people what I am going to do. In 2013, in 2017, these people they spoke to their people. So Miriam, it was actually good for Uhuru Kenyatta to speak to his people, and it was not actually it is not tribal the way people perceive. Miriam, before I was interrupted, we were talking about manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
Now there is something I wanted us to let me comment.
Yes, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see, I was talking of tax relief And you see, we are so much scary, most of the people, Miriam, who they want to come and invest in this country to build factories. Let me ask you people today in this television, how is the other wing of Kenya Kwanza going to implement in terms of manufacturing? And yet, even in counties, and yet 80% of the people, 80% of their grouping are corrupt people who have been accused of, their deputy has been accused of supplying air to counties, supplying fake materials. 80% of the companies which are working in this country belong to those people. How are they going to come and continue with manufacturing? So there is a problem there. These are the people you have an opportunity. You had an opportunity of 10 years to improve. Presidency, Miriam, consists of president and deputy president. Now that William Ruto had an opportunity and had time all along to improve together with President Uhuru Kenyatta, what is he going to tell Kenyans now that I'm going to? Which miracle is he going to perform? Thank you.
Okay. All right. And of course, before President Uhuru Kenyatta addressed the Mount Kenya region yesterday, some of Mr. Kenyatta's critics informed IEBC via social media that the president intended to violate the requirement that candidates and political parties desist from political campaigns 48 hours to the polls. Dear Chabukati, Azimio chairman intends to violate this law today. I have annexed the evidence of the intention. I hereby formally inform you of the intention, and if the intention is actualized, please take action. That is what Muranga Senator Irungu Kangata shared on Twitter. And of course, however, IEBC chairperson Wafula Chebukati, while addressing journalists at the Bomas of Kenya, said President Kenyatta is not a candidate and was free to make his speeches or any such or any announcements. So, Douglas, what do you make of President Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday deciding to speak to Mount Kenya region and the significance of that?
Thank you, Miriam. That was a genius political move from the end of state and government, His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta, to speak to a people that he knows too very well than William Ruto and any other of us. He is our leader, and we have seen President Kenyatta deploy the local media stations, especially his own media stations, to speak to the heart of the Kikuyu nation. Remember, he has a huge following. That's why every one of us listens when the president speaks. And remember, he's a president, and again, he comes from the region, and he knows how to speak to them. Have you ever seen Raila Odinga or any other politician gather his own local stations to speak to the people, to the soul of their people? It is only President Kenyatta who does that because he knows it works perfectly for him. William Ruto has never deployed the same in his own region. Why? Because mostly it can only work for President Kenyatta. There are people who religiously follow Kameme FM, Meru FM, Muga FM, and Wemwaro FM, and others, they keep glued there and they'll listen to the president. And I've said before, in politics, including those people who have practiced politics for many years, know that in politics you listen to what is being said rather than what is said. The president spoke to the soul of the mountain.
Sorry to interrupt your thoughts, because you brought in Raila and Ruto. Is it maybe because the reason why they've not gathered, these indigenous media houses from their backyards to speak to them, like what we've seen President Kenyatta doing and what he did yesterday? Is it because Raila feels comfortable because he knows the whole of his backyard is behind him, and Ruto is confident on the same? But President Uhuru Kenyatta, this time, Mount Kenya region, we have to be honest with this. These votes are not in the same basket as they have traditionally been perceived to be. So President Uhuru Kenyatta has some convincing to do. Don't you think this could be the reason why he has to work overtime?
I don't.
Okay.
No, I don't. I don't, because Miriam, if it was so, Raila would not have called people at the Jomo Kenyatta International Stadium in Kisumu to address them. We saw William Ruto waiting in the middle of Eldoret town, saying that we are the people from Eldoret, we are people from Uasin Gishu and Rift Valley. In Rift Valley, Please vote for UDA people. If it was so, you would have been waiting from Wajir International Stadium or Mandela Stadium or Tononoka grounds. But we saw him in the middle of Eldoret town, speaking to the soul of the Karijin land and to the Nandis, to Kipsigis, and every other person that is to Tugans, appealing to them to vote for him and his UDA party. We saw Raila telling the people in Kakamega and Nyanza, please, our time has come. Now, the president, this is his own political strategy that he deployed in 2017, worked miracles. Deployed in 2013, worked miracles. It is always a card that the president has always kept near his chest because he knows very well how to speak to Kikuyus. And remember, Kikuyus and it is believed that a leader from the Kikuyu land is also their own prophet. He spoke to them and he told them what to do next so that they can secure the gains that he has been able to bring to them. Mau Mau roads, the Keno Marwa roads, and every other thing that he has secured for the Kikuyu nation. He spoke to them and they listened to him, Miriam. And if you want to know, go around social media, except for a few rusty sheep. People are now towing the line. The president spoke to them last night and he told them, please, for you to be able to do that, go and vote for leaders that can secure the same. He doesn't have to repeat the name of Raila Odinga and shame the name of William Ruto. He has already done that. He has told people that William Ruto is not fit. He retaliated the same last night. Because in politics, Miriam, you have to listen to what is being said, what is not being said, because that's where the message is. The message was last night, reject Ruto in totality, so that you can secure what you have. And also, I'm not going anywhere. I'll be still your reader, and I'll be reading you together with Raila and others so that we can continue rubber stamping what I have been able to do and actually bringing more, because that is the far that I can be able to go, because God has been able to bring me this far, and this is the much that I've done by the grace of God. And also, there's something the president said that people should also take note of. When the president sang the popular song, God, I want you to know that you've been you, it has been you, and you have always protected me from my enemies and all that. He did the same in 2017, wiped emotions of the people and they voted the way he wanted. The same has happened as tonight and tomorrow. People are going to vote the way the president wants. He will achieve the percentage he wants for Raila, because 100%, you will not achieve 100% because there is a particular route for Uhuru Kenyatta in Mount Kenya region. People that were saying they're going to vote for Raila in Meru in 2017, they didn't do that. They didn't do the same in Embu and other places because President Kenyatta happened. I've listened to you, the way William Ruto and read the strategies that the people who go out of their way and vote President Raila and William Ruto more than they did President Kenyatta in 2017. I want to ask, in 2013, the Honorable Mother Karua, the deputy presidential nominee for Azimio la Umoja, was running for president. In Kirinyaga, President Uhuru Kenyatta had over 90% turnout. Is Ruto going to achieve 95% in Kirinyaga? Now, back in Meru, in 2017 and 2013, President Kenyatta scored the highest number of voters that were casting for presidential candidates. Is William Ruto going to get more than President Kenyatta got in Meru? This is a joke, Miriam. In his own Kiambu backyard, over 1 million voters, 1.2 million voters are waiting to cast their votes tomorrow, and they gave President Kenyatta over 95% in 2017. Is William Ruto going to get 99% in Kiambu? And also Murang'a. And remember, President Kenyatta went to Murang'a when we were being told that President Kenyatta will not step into Murang'a. He knows that to speak to the soul of Kikuyu nation, you have to speak from Murang'a. That's what they believe in, and they believe that the Kikuyus came from Mokoro wa Nyagabaga in Murang'a, and in Nyeri. He actually went up all the way to Nyeri and spoke from there and said that this is my truth, and I will hold it dear, and I will not deviate from the same, and I ask you to follow me. And last night he came again and told them, please, I've done what I can for you. I've protected whatever I have been able to do for you. And me, as your leader, I'm not going anywhere. I will still be around. I will still be your leader, speaking over your issues and also making sure that we as a people and as a country, we are united. Now, for us as a country, we need to also heed from, to hear what the president was calling the Kikuyu nation to heed, that is Meru and also Embu and others that forms the Gema people. He told them, if you follow my advice, please reject William Ruto in totality. If you follow my advice, please reject leaders who have been able to antagonize my administration for 10 years. They did not put your interest before them. They put their greed for power and personal endeavors before them. And people can see that, Miriam, because you cannot be able to tell us that Mithika Rinturi, a man that was given many roads in Meru to be able to construct by Jubilee administration since 2013, 2015, 2016, has done anything for us except insulting the president. And clearly, I'm from Meru. I know Mithika Rinturi stole money that was meant for roads together with his straight wife, Marianne Keitani, through Atikoin construction. And those are issues that President was speaking, but he was not saying that directly because the people know exactly what to do and what to connect and what not to. And at the end of the day, when you speak to the people of Embu, Sister Imbarire, who has been nominated since she was a young girl by the President Party Kanu, former President Party Kanu, since she was a university girl, and today, the only thing she has delivered for the people of Embu is insults and all that. And these are people that the president was saying, reject them. And as we bring on the new slate of leaders, we will have leaders that we can work with and speak in unison. Our unity as a people, the way you've said that the votes in Mount Kenya is not intact, is that the president said that we cannot be able to speak under one voice, speak for the Meru people, Embu, and the whole of central Kenya, as one voice and as your leader, because your leaders, the people that you gave me in 2017, were antagonizing me. And truly, now tomorrow we have an opportunity to have new leaders who will work with President Kenyatta and any other person that comes after him, and a unity of purpose. Remember, in Rift Valley, even though William Ruto is facing a lot of backlash from a few elements, people speak there with one voice because they have one leader. In Nyanza, the same thing. In the coast. But here in Mount Kenya, we have so many people with personal vendetta against the president who are his friends who are stopped from stealing, like Mithika Rinturi, actually a man that he spent a whole night with in his home in 2013 that cannot be said of now. And when the president speaks to Kikuyu people or the Gema community, they know what the president is saying. And we have to await tomorrow. President Kenyatta wanted a certain percentage. He surpassed that tomorrow. We are going to also gauge the same results and see this is what we needed and this is what we have been able to achieve. And he did that with a master stroke of genius last night, and the people could appreciate the president's message and farewell. And to the people that he has not been able to reach out to, he told them, goodbye, thank you for trusting me for 10 years and voting for me more than 3 times, and you have stood with me, and I thank God that the far that we have come and everything that we have, it was a nice farewell message, political message that was speaking to the soul. It was dealing with the ravages of COVID-19 and the construction after COVID-19 and all that. The president gave a picture of a man that was under siege, whereas he was strong enough to hold the region and the country and make sure that they are firm and strong, even as he exits the presidency tomorrow as another president is voted in, and even as we continue making sure that as a country, we cannot be delayed by any man to be taken to 2007. He said that his government has made sure that he has invested, no Kikuyu will lose their property. Remember President Kenyatta as a DPM, not as a member of parliament, going to Naivasha to stop the crashes, going to make sure that his personal fortune goes into restoring and reconstructing Kikuyu businesses, and Meru businesses, Embu businesses of people in 2007, 2013, and 2017. This is a man that has given his whole. By the grace of God, he has been able to serve his term, and he tells the people goodbye. It was very emotional, Miriam. I would continue, but I submit.
Okay, it was very emotional. I didn't get a chance to listen to that, but I'm sure perhaps Tawish did have a chance to listen to the president. And Tawish, do you wonder why perhaps President Uhuru Kenyatta chose to speak yesterday after the campaign noises have quieted and we thought, okay, fine, so now let's just wait for Tuesday. And then we heard that President Uhuru Kenyatta is addressing Kenyans, especially from Mount Kenya region. What do you think was the significance of him finding it necessary to have that address?
Very well, thank you, Miriam. To begin with, I think President Uhuru Kenyatta has been calculative and strategic in every move he has made. From the time he has had the handshake with the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga to date, even as we head into this election tomorrow. One is because you can clearly see that Kenyatta has pulled very pleasant surprises in favor of Raila Odinga. One, if I was just to respond about yesterday's presser to the Kikuyu dialect stations, it was very apparent because, again, Kenyatta understands so well that nobody will censure him for speaking about tomorrow's election yesterday when the period had already lapsed, because one, President Kenyatta is not a candidate in this election, and therefore there's no way you'll actually legally censure him for speaking about the Tuesday's election and his choice for president come tomorrow and Kenyans are going to vote. Secondly, Miriam, we all understand, much as President Kenyatta is the head of state and the president of the Republic of Kenya, that means for all Kenyans. But again, he has had his strong bastion, that is the central Kenya region, in as far as his political command is concerned. These are the people who have supported him from the time when he went to the presidency for the first time in 2002. Also when he supported Mwai Kibaki in 2007, and when he decided now to throw his hat rather in the ring in 2013, and the subsequent election in 2017. And therefore he knows it too well that for him to have been elected president twice, if not thrice, of course, owing to that repeat election in 2017, that he owes it too much to the people of central Kenya because they voted for him almost to the last man. And therefore, this remains his stronghold politically. And that said as well, don't forget that he has been the spokesperson of this region. Still remains to be the spokesperson of that region, not until something else happens or until he hands over the spokesmanship battle to another person. That is why you see even him remaining as the Jubilee Party leader in itself at a time when he's retiring from active politics or as president of the Republic of Kenya. It's very strategic in itself. It tells you that he still wants and will continue to command or to be the spokesperson of the Kikuyu nation in as far as our politics is concerned. And that is why even yesterday, in that press he said, don't expect that I'll be going anywhere. I'll just but be changing home address. I'll still be hanging around. That has a lot of connotation. It is very, very, it is something that has a weighty message behind it. But Miriam, be that as it may, look onto the decisions and steps that President Kenyatta has made in the recent past, including even nominating or proposing or having Martha Karua as the running mate to Raila Odinga. This is something that was not widely expected even from the political pundits or analysts, that Martha Karua will be that master stroke who will come and pull a surprise as a running mate to Raila Odinga. So many people had hoped probably it was going to be Peter Kenneth, it was going to be Peter Munya, it was going to be Sabina Chege and so many other politicians coming from that region. But at some point, I think President Kenyatta still remains so strategic by choosing Martha Karua. Don't forget, there's also a contestation in the central region in as far as the political command is concerned. One is the fact that Kiambu County has produced two presidents. That is Jomo Kenyatta, the founding president, who ruled this country, the first president to be. And then we had, of course, Mwai Kibaki coming from Nyeri region. And we now have President Uhuru Kenyatta, who hails from, of course, Kiambu, who happens to be the son of the founding father. So essentially, Murang'a County and Kirinyaga County in central Kenya feel like they have not been so close to power. So be it. So I think that is why President Kenyatta chose, of course, Martha Karua from Kirinyaga County to come and deputize Raila Odinga, so that at least the people of Kirinyaga County can as well feel to be part and parcel, because they have always felt like they're left out in the power equation when it comes to central Kenya. And the same cannot be said of Rigathi Gachagua, because Mwai Kibaki served as president for 2 consecutive terms, that is 10 years. So these pleasant surprises, Miriam, I can tell you, have been strategic from President Uhuru Kenyatta, including even that address that he made yesterday, because he knows DP William Ruto will not have another chance really to speak about it. Him being the head of state, even if he wants to address the nation now, he will still come out and address the nation and nobody will censure him, including the Observer Mission, including IEBC, including even the political opponents. They can only but do it on social media, like you have seen them ranting that why do we have the coalition, the Azimio coalition chairperson really coming out and speaking politics way after the campaign period is over. In my understanding, yesterday's presser from President Kenyatta had nothing to do with campaigning directly for Raila Odinga, but giving his, of course, appreciation to the people who have supported his political cause from the time he began his politics way back in 2002, if I'm not very wrong, to date, to the extent of electing him president twice. So it is only prudent that he comes out and extends that hand of appreciation to the people who have supported him all through in his political career at a time when he's bidding them farewell from State House. Only that President Kenyatta was also using one stone to kill two birds. One, appreciating his people. Second, also rooting and vouching for his presidential candidate. There's not much we can do, but don't let nobody take it for granted. This President Uhuru Kenyatta's moves are really going to be very, very significant for Raila Odinga, and even trying to woo more voters to vote for Raila Amolo Odinga come tomorrow. I submit, Miriam.
Okay, and I listened to part of that interview, and for me, the takeaway, I got from President Uhuru Kenyatta was that he's happy that until 6 p.m. on Saturday, that's what he said, the country has been peaceful. So it's up to now IEBC to move us to the next level. So President Uhuru Kenyatta yet again underscoring the importance of the handshake that he had with opposition leader Raila Odinga and what that has meant as far as the stability of this country is concerned. And maybe that's why we were talking here yesterday, the level of calmness that has been exhibited throughout the campaign period. Of course, there has been some incidences here and there in the recent years before, but the campaigns have been largely, peaceful and calm. Well, maybe not, but we've not had so many incidences compared to the previous campaigns. So maybe that handshake has so much to do with that. But I think that was the takeaway for me. He's happy that the country is peaceful. He's happy that Kenyans are able to be comfortable and feel safe, regardless of where they are. And as a president, he feels that is his biggest accomplishment outside of the infrastructural developments and these are the things he's been able to achieve, but leaving an intact and a peaceful, cohesive Kenya, I think that is his biggest pride. Of course, we will see what happens after tomorrow, and we're still hoping that the country will be intact and peaceful. And I think at this point, Kenyans have really learned from what has happened in the past, and nobody wishes to go back to that dark past. So we are coming to the end of the show, but I think there is some information here I feel is vital. The National Police Service has announced a toll-free emergency contacts to be used for reporting any incident during the polls season. Police have set up the National Election Security Command Center that is being manned by dedicated staff who are highly trained to handle all concerns in a professional manner, police headquarters have said. The call center teams work closely with our field commanders for efficient coordination and response, said police spokesperson Bruno Chioso. He added the numbers are open 24/7 to the public. Asked to call to the public to report an emergency of any nature. The public is asked to call 911 or 112 or 991. So for any emergencies during this period, you call 911 or another number 112 or another number 999, and also you can call 0800 722 703 0800 722 203 to seek assistance or report a case of sexual or gender-based violence. The public can call SGBV toll-free number 0800 730 999, and to reach the NPC, that is the National Election Security Command Center, there are some numbers that have been given. So police is working overtime to ensure, in case you feel there's anything that you need to bring to the attention of the authorities,
Miriam.
Those numbers are toll free. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Miriam.
Yes.
And we need to also commend the Republic of Kenya. We had the president say it. We've seen Matiang'i and the Principal Secretary for Interior Government and Citizen Services, Dr. Engineer Karanja Kebicho, and the National Police Service for making sure that this country is experiencing peace for the first time. I've not seen violent scenes of 2017 and 2013 in Meru like before, except for a few meetings that have been disrupted by a few paid goods for a few minutes or 3 minutes. I've not seen the violent scenes of 2017. And when I say 2017, this one of the vicious elections in Meru where pitting the Honorable Peter Munya, the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture, Kiraito Murungi, Dr. Keremi Muiria, and others, Miriam. And also across the country, we have also not seen many other people who have been causing violence, and to make sure that these people continue upholding peace even to the last minute, Miriam, only remaining with election day. We can do better. We can be able to uphold peace. We can be able to see this country go beyond bloodshed, go beyond contentious elections. We can vote in peace and go home. And the president assured us, and I believe him, that the National Police Service, the military, every security apparatus has been deployed to make sure you, the resident of the Republic of Kenya, the resident of any other county in this country, and everywhere you are, that your security is guaranteed. That is a plus for the government to make sure that even these contentious political opponents, even their vicious camps, political opponents continue voting for their own bids to become governor, senator, MCA, and president. Kenya continues remaining peaceful. I was very happy to see the president lift the hand of the Honorable Paul Simbarati in Kisii, and that of Professor Sam Ongeri. Miriam, that was very good for me because Simbarati and Professor Sam Ongeri and Chris Obure, the former Minister for Energy, these are the vicious camps in Kisii region that are seeking to do each other in insults and all that. But we've not seen people die. We've not seen violent scenes in Kisii, except a few push and push there. And at the end of the day, we've not even seen people in Mombasa fighting like they were doing in 2017 for Sarai and also Governor Joe. We've seen Salif Nesil doing his own campaigns and also others doing their own campaigns. And it has been peaceful all along the country. We cannot say that any politician's life is in danger. We cannot say that any person in this country, their life has been threatened, or they have reported cases of being threatened by political opponents or people that are opposing sides. Miriam, I believe that this has also been facilitated by the handshake, and that even people in this country after the handshake in 2013, they can feel the ripple effects of the handshake from 2017 from 2018 to 2022 when we are holding a general election. We can only commend the president and the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, the security apparatus, and we, the people of Kenya, for upholding peace, especially in this very, very hotly contested election. When the world is expecting us to be violent and to be in a not mess, Miriam, we, the people of Kenya, are peaceful. We are waiting. It's only hours, Miriam, to the general election, to the D-Day, to the big day for the people of Kenya, their leaders, as they choose the next leaders that can take them to the next dispensation, where they are going to also now have leaders that are going to carry on the legacies of former leaders, former member of parliament, former senator, former governor, and actually the former president of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Thank you, Miriam.
Okay, thank you. Tawish, anything else before we wind up?
Well, thank you, Miriam. I think it is just about an appeal about tomorrow's election. This is a very, very important and critical moment in the history of our country. It is yet that opportunity when we are presented with a chance to go and elect our new leaders, those who are going to lead us in the next 5 years or so. So it's very, very important that we encourage each and everyone who is eligible to vote to go and exercise their civic duty, but also be reminded that they exercise this civic duty peacefully and without engaging in any acts of violence that are going really to undermine the peace that we continue to enjoy today as a people of Kenya. In any case, this election should not be treated as a matter of do or die. It is just that opportunity when we are going to elect our leaders, and whoever is going to win in this election, regardless, from the MCA, member of parliament, senator, women rep, governor, and also the president. Not necessarily that every leader we support is going to win, but whoever is going to win, let us embrace them. And let us also embrace those who are going to lose this election, because this is just that one opportunity in our 5-year calendar. We should not take this opportunity as one to hold grudges, or even to shed blood, or even to kill one another simply because of the political contestation. We need to accept and acknowledge that this is just one civic exercise that we are going to engage in. And finally, Miriam, like I've said previously, and I want to stress again today, that bad leaders are elected by good people who do not go and vote. Each and every one of us really has that right to go and vote, and make sure that we do so that we do not complain about bad leadership tomorrow. Those who are going to fail to vote, they should understand that it's not going to be a protest. It is just but surrendering to bad leadership. We must exercise our civic duty and make sure that we put the leaders we want in office. We are the employers. But by the end of the day, after this election, we embrace one another, we hug one another, and say it was fairly a good competition. It was fairly a good election and a campaign period, and life must move on after tomorrow. I submit.
Yes, indeed. We still have a country to build and lives to live even after elections tomorrow. Thank you so much, Samuel Tawish, Douglas Kirimi, Kiptanui Savania, and Gladwell Kiragu. They were there a bit earlier. We want to thank you for watching, and whatever you're doing today, please keep safe and maintain peace. All right. We love you for watching. We'll see you again here in our next broadcast. This has been Good Morning Africa. My name is Miriam Ogutu. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.